Scientists have been holding their breath, observing a comet for quite a while now. This comet is so massive that scientists first believed it to be a small planet. Hello everyone. The name of this comet is C-2014 UN-271, also known as Comet Bernardinelli-Bernstein. What exactly do we know about this remarkable comet? Could it possibly be responsible for the destruction of our Earth? Should we be digging underground shelters and stockpiling food? Welcome back to our channel. Ladies and gentlemen, put your shovels aside for a second because we are going to take a closer look at this comet together. Let's get started. Asteroid or comet? In October of 2014, scientists discovered a strange asteroid leaving the Oort cloud and heading toward the solar system. The diameter of this asteroid was estimated to be between 100 and 150 kilometers. In the category of asteroids, this size was quite large. This asteroid was given the code C-2014 UN-271, and astronomers set out to procure a detailed investigation. After completing some orbit calculations, experts began to suspect that this object was not an asteroid, but a comet. This was because of the fact that this object was very distant from the Sun. The aphelion of this object, which is the point in orbit when it is farthest from the Sun, was estimated to be 4,000 to 54,000 AU. In comparison, the dwarf planet Sedna is one of the most distant bodies in the solar system other than long-period comets, but its aphelion is only 1000 AU from the Sun. Yet, even by the standards of long-period comets, this object was speculated to have travelled an extremely long way. There are only a few objects, as far as experts currently understand, that are this far from the Sun. Such elongated orbits are rare for asteroids and dwarf planets, and are a feature found only in comets. The controversy over whether C-2014 UN-271 was a comet or an asteroid was settled in June of 2021. Around C-2014 UN-271, clear signs of the formation of a misty film, coma, were discovered. This was unmistakable evidence proving that this body was a comet. Other than their orbits, there are other characteristics that can be used to tell the difference between comets and asteroids. Comets are much less dense than asteroids. The nucleus of a comet is more like a dirty, crumbly snowball than a pebble. As the comet approaches the Sun, the frozen gas in the nucleus heats up and evaporates, creating a very thin film around the nucleus. This is known as a coma. As mentioned earlier, this activity of the nucleus was seen in C-2014 UN-271. An overweight comet? Comets must pay a heavy price for getting closer to the Sun. In exchange for shining brightly in the night sky among other planets, they release and lose material the closer that they get to the Sun. Lost matter can never be returned. For example, the famous Halley's Comet now looks so small it can be compared to used up bar soap with a nucleus only about 15 by 8 by 8 kilometers in size. Experts calculate that Halley's Comet has lost 90% of its mass in the past 2,000 to 3,000 orbits. In this way, short-period comets that orbit the Sun in less than 200 years are often small and fade quickly. On the other hand, long-period comets do not lose material as quickly and can only occasionally be observed in the Earth's night sky. These are much larger than short-period comets. According to calculations by experts, it takes about 3 million years for Comet Bernardinelli-Bernstein to circle the Sun, making it by far the largest of the long-period comets. Comet Bernardinelli-Bernstein is still flying towards the solar system. It is currently located approximately 20 AU from the Sun, orbiting Uranus, and will reach perihelion, the point nearest the Sun, in 2031. At perihelion, the comet will be about 10 AU from the Sun. This roughly corresponds to Saturn's orbit. After reaching its closest point to the Sun, and being slightly warmed by it, the giant comet will change its direction. It will return to the dark, icy land of Oort cloud. Only after 3 million years, it will approach the Sun once again. It is unlikely that we will be able to see Comet Bernardinelli-Bernstein with the naked eye. Even when it reaches perihelion, it will still be too far from the Sun to be affected by the Sun's light and heat, nor should it pose any danger to the Earth. This is assuming, of course, that it does not move from its normal orbit. Those that claim the end of the world. Is there a possibility that Comet Bernardinelli-Bernstein's normal orbit will be affected by another celestial body and change direction to a more central area of the solar system, heading straight for the blue planet we live in? Experts assure us that the probability is extremely low and nothing we should be worrying about. In theory, of course, anything can happen. What would happen if a giant comet suddenly collided with the Earth? First, in the sky, we would see an incredibly bright comet trailing even more light. Some of the long-period comets that once approached Earth were visible even in daylight. The ice of these giant comets will melt for the first time after being struck by the Sun's heat. The surface of its nucleus will boil and scatter like a geyser from many kilometers away. A huge amount of ice, dust, and rock will be released into space, creating the comet's tail. If the Earth in orbit were to pass through the tail, we will see spectacular meteor showers. 1,000 shooting stars will streak across the sky in straight lines. We're often told to make a wish when we see a shooting star because its magical powers should grant you the wish you make. In this case, however, we recommend that you wish for humanity to survive. Because in the event of a collision with such a large comet, humanity will not be saved unless something magical and miraculous happens. At least since the late heavy bombardment period 3.8 billion years ago, even experts can't say for sure whether a comet of this size has ever struck the planet. The asteroid that destroyed the dinosaurs was less than 80 kilometers in diameter, but it was massive enough to cause destruction that eventually turned Earth's whole system upside down. The only thing we know for sure is the impact of a comet this size will have catastrophic consequences. The Day of Judgment. There is also speculation that Comet Bernardinelli-Bernstein could fall apart as it approaches Earth. Under the influence of the Sun's light and heat, this comet is likely to break and fall apart. Tremendous amounts of gas and liquid will boil inside the nucleus and spew outward, one after another. Under the influence of Earth's gravity, it should become even more unstable. Of course, we would be lucky if the comet breaks apart. Some of this debris will be thrown out and fly into space or become satellites of the Earth. Some debris will also fall on various areas of the Earth over the course of a week or two, as was the case when fragments of Comet Shoemaker-Levy hit Jupiter in 1994. Most of this debris will fall into the ocean, causing earthquakes and large tsunamis. The first areas to be affected will be the coastal areas, especially countries with low elevations, such as the Netherlands, Bangladesh, and countries in Oceania. If comet debris were to hit land, large amounts of dust would be thrown into the atmosphere, followed by days without summer for several years. There will be destruction and tremendous loss, but in the end, mankind should be able to survive. On the other hand, if the comet does not break apart and falls to Earth in its original form, and if it strikes land rather than sea, the consequences will be far more disastrous. Fires will break out at the comet's point of impact. The Earth will convulse, wake up dozens or even hundreds of volcanoes, and huge amounts of volcanic ash will be released into the atmosphere. From the comet's impact site, dust and rocks will be released into the atmosphere. Some of those rocks will again fall to the Earth as meteorites, causing forest fires. The Earth will be darker than a moonlit night for many years, even when it should be daytime. Earth will experience the longest winter in over 66 million years. Starvation will begin as plants die from lack of sunlight, and as a result, large numbers of species will become extinct. People will either hide in underground shelters or wander through ruined cities, suffering from the cold and hunger. Will our civilization survive this disaster? We will never know the answer. Let's leave it at that. It's time to come back to reality. I think I have scared you all enough. Thank you for watching until the end. Either way, I'm glad this giant comet isn't posing a real threat to the Earth at the moment. I'm sure that astronomers will continue to investigate and research this planet. Perhaps they will find some interesting news. When they do, I'll be sure to share it with you all. Please give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any interesting topics. I guess it's goodbye for now. See you all again soon. Bye.